Hey there, how you doing? Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah. Whatever it is that you celebrate this time of year, happiness to you, okay? Merriness to you, and blessings to you. All right, so we are on the teeter-totter, the point of no return to 2024. It's almost bye-bye 2024. Okay, so we're stepping into 2025, and I'm sitting in my car, and I'm just gonna take this moment to actually share a message of value for all of us. Is it going to be valuable? Yes, it's going to be valuable. Value in what way? There's going to be something worth reflecting on here. All right, so I'm going to take an event that is in, this is probably going to piss people off, okay? But I'm going to do it, all right? So I'm going to take an event that's recently happened. I hold this event in my hand here. I've been thinking about this a lot, and I'm going to tell you what I've been thinking about and why I'm going to pull from this event in order to share a message for 2025. So the event is the death of the CEO of UnitedHealthcare. This is an event. There's a destiny to things, you know? You aren't born on accident. There's no accidents. Everything happens for all essential reason. And there's deep meaning to it. And there's deep reason to value every single event from a place that isn't, I mean, you can value it or hate it or whatever is still valuable. Everything that happens is valuable. And I've been thinking about this so much. My guides are kind of asking me, how are we connecting the dots here? Like, how are we connecting the dots between I am holding this in my hand, and what does this mean to me? What does this mean about 2025? Why am I infiltrating our merriment in the end of 2024 with this difficult conversation? Because in 2025, I want to take a look at what is being expressed as like a filtered food for us to digest in day-to-day life for our collective value, okay? So we are given these events, and then we are thinking about them. We are reflecting on them. What does it mean? And I've been thinking a lot about thou shalt not kill. I've been thinking a lot about this, thou shalt not kill. And I've been paralleling this with absolutely horrible human beings that have done absolutely horrible things. And thou shalt not kill, but they will kill. They will kill. That's where people are in pain right now about this conversation, is they feel like the insurance companies are killing human beings, actually killing people. And that this man then represents a murderer, right? So that then justifies murdering him. So I find this to be a very fascinating conflict in our society about thou shalt not kill, but when then is it okay to kill? And so I find this, I'm watching people, how they're reacting to this, what they're saying about this. How is this collectively impacting us? Now, if I were to take out UnitedHealthcare insurance, and this is just a man, okay, with a family, living his life. Now, this is you, just living your life the best you know how, and maybe you're not great, or maybe you're greater than people give you credit for, okay? Now you're the one that is being targeted. Now you're the one, eye to eye with someone who wants to get rid of you. And this is the last thing you'll ever remember. This isn't just a separate person. This is part of you. And now I'm thinking about protests. Now let's say there is no, let's do away with what we see as the bad guy. Once the bad guy's gone, then we can finally move on with our life. But what is advertised, what is perceived as the bad guy, is that really a bad person? We don't really know. We think we know, right? Like, we could talk about Donald Trump, or we could talk about Joe Biden, and who's the bad guy, you know? Who do we want to get rid of? There's already been 2 attempts on Donald Trump's life. Is he the bad guy, right? Is he the CEO of UnitedHealthcare? Well, obviously not. But do you see the parallels that I'm making here when it comes to events happening in our collective? So I don't want to be the news, but I actually want to pull from a place where we're actually understanding what is the cosmic reason for these things. Like, what is the cosmic message here? And what can we deeply learn here? Because that's kind of who I am. And then why do I want to muck up our 2025 message with the news? Because I'm telling you, there's something good to come from all of this. There's something good to come from everything that always happens. There's this like tide of suffering, and then there's this tide of glory, you could say. Like, then everything is always flowing, right? Is that how flow works? Maybe. I need to do something to help this man. I just need to. I could do this in my own time, or I could share it. Let's take away UnitedHealthcare. Let's take away insurance. Let's take away, we hate this guy. We like this guy. This guy's just a guy. Thou shalt not kill. Let's just erase all the content and conversation and just see this as just a fellow soul, okay? One of many fellow souls on this planet. We just wear an avatar, like we wear a hat. We come here and we represent something. And then we learn from that representation and we teach each other things. That's what this is. It just a blank canvas here, and now the souls come in and we play out these storylines. And we're moved and impacted in different ways by these storylines. So if we could just see him as a soul, a brother, sister, soul, like we're all of the same family, okay? So we just see him as one of us. Now can we care about him? So what does this have to do with 2025? I don't know, but I need to do this. I need to go visit his soul. That's what I'm going to go do. Okay, well, when I do that, this is what I experience. I experience material that represents his soul. And I experience a machine. And the machine has these like gears in it, but it's not rounded. It's actually just straight up and down. And then it has teeth. And each teeth is like, it's individual. So it's like, here's a tooth, a tooth, a tooth, a tooth. Like, and he's like jammed between this up and down with the teeth. And then what is a rounded gear over here with teeth. And he's like jammed between these two, and they aren't working. Like, this just isn't working. And he's stuck in there. He's like someone spit a piece of gum into the machine and now it's all jammed up. It's just like that little piece of gum broke the whole thing. And one of the hardships that his soul's going through right now. So one thing that you have to understand is when you die, you will actually hear this sound. You'll still be somewhere in between human and earth and all that. And then like your ascended self, all right? You'll be somewhere in between all of this. And when you die in a tragic way, you a little bit more lodged closer to the planet. So you'll have a lot more to digest. Inhale and exhale through your soul. Because you're not completely shedding the entire experience yet. You shed the experience, you let go of everything that is human, and then you are disconnected. Now you're part of all time and space and everything. But until then, you're still kind of looking through the lens and still feeling kind of connected here. So his soul's very close to the planet, and he's inhaling and exhaling a lot of reaction, including mine right now. That's why I'm trying to help him. Because I want his soul to have some support in this space, because it's really hard for souls in this space, okay? It would be really hard for you, and wouldn't you want someone to come there and help you? And you could say, well, I wouldn't treat people the way he treated people. It's like, okay, just Let's just let that just let that go over there. We don't understand everything. We think we understand things. We think we know stuff. I'm just going to just neutral on this one, and I'm just going to go help him, okay? And I say, you're not a piece of bubble gum. And there's a lot of weird, twisted echoes that come. He's a bubble gum where there's a weird Sharpie marker that starts to draw a face on the bubble gum of his soul. And it's like his head can go in 360 degrees like a creepy owl or exorcist nightmare. And then there's another part of himself that's crying on the other side, but I can't see the material. I just hear the sound of crying, and it echoes from everywhere. And I see that he can't be the one that fixes it. He can just be the one that jams up the machine. And he can't even collect his consciousness in order to have a conversation, so he's going to be like weird parts of himself, okay? And you have weird parts of yourself too. So I just collect the crying sounds, okay? I just collect the crying sounds, and then I bring the crying sounds together, but I don't merge it with the weird bubble gum and the twisty head, okay? I just put it as a different form. In the machine. This is just a big room that I can't see everything, but it represents a big machine, and the big machine has a big jam in it. So the death of the CEO, yes, created a huge jam in the machine. So yes, he represents change. Is that a message for 2025? Is change? 2025 is a jam in the machine and change. So if we're starting 2025 and this message, I feel inspired to talk about the CEO event and go visit his soul, I am basically giving you a premonition that 2025 is about change. And you could probably sit there and say, is it really about change? Isn't it always about change? No, this is like big changes, big change. This is visible. You're going to be saturated in change, okay? And it's going to change your life. It's going to change everybody's life. It's going to be all about change. So I'm hearing the sounds of people who are trying to reach him that love him dearly. And I'm opening these strange, very small, like mouse-sized doors. And I'm just like opening them from everywhere, okay? And it's kind of weird. It's like nails on a chalkboard. And there's these weird, they're like strings. This people that love him dearly are like the sound of metal strings or something. And they feel like strings, and they come in and they start to wrap around, particularly the part of him that is the bubble gum with the weird face. The Sharpie drawn on there, and it starts to wrap, and these keep coming in, and they just start to wrap like Wolverine's nails or something. They're really long strings, and they're cutting, okay? And they're cutting and ripping and tearing. And all I can do is just stand here and wait, because everything has to have a process. But now that all of those cutting strings have done their job, I start to notice he's able to breathe now as a soul. It's almost like he had to face some serious, what is like torture-esque experience. It's like if you play like a string instrument, you have this bow and it goes across the strings, but imagine it's like so sharp metal, like it's cutting you. It's like a string that's cutting your head off. It's just like keeps wrapping around. But now it's all a part of him. All this, like, these painful strings are a part of him. It's almost like these are aspects that are trying to come back to him, of himself. It's incomprehensible to understand what this life was all about, unless I took the time. I can only gather bits and pieces, but my goal is to heal him and then share an interconnected message with 2025, which is going to get us thinking, and there's going to be value here to this. I'll feel better knowing that his soul is on the next step. I just need to do this. Because I'm going to represent someone who cares. And you know what I find interesting is you have someone who doesn't deserve to be loved. But that's false. It's the love that heals everything. It's just, what is love exactly? Sometimes love is a big fat no. And all the hardship that then person is going to have to endure because you said no to them. Sometimes that is love, okay? And sometimes, like, love is actually a hug when you desperately need one. Best kind of love there is, right? And sometimes the hug isn't ever enough. Like, you need 10,000 hugs and it just doesn't ever fix things. So love is so complicated. But there is frequency that talks about balance, and I'm helping his soul find the balance again. He's important. All right, so now that the bows and the tight strings, all that, it's all just come back. He's breathing, and I can start to tell the crying parts that I put into this form are frequencies that are coming back to him, and he's inhaling and exhaling himself again. And instantly it's like he wakes up and he's looking around this place like, oh, wow, ouch, He's like, like he wants to fix things. He wants to fix things. Now, is it possible to imagine his soul chose to be the CEO of UnitedHealthcare so he could play a role in fixing things? If he has to be the bad guy, so be it. He wants to play a role in fixing things. So maybe we still have insurance companies. Maybe they just function better. I don't know what the solution is. That's not my expertise. But I do understand the complexities of systems and how it all fits together and the hardship that a majority of the population has to endure. So it does need to improve, right? So I'm starting to see his soul actually has an angelic nature that wants to fix everything. And so if he has to play the bad guy in order to get there, so be it. He tells me that he's not enough, like he played his part. And then he tells me that as he is looking at this, it's all cast in shadow and there's a lot of working parts, but a lot of them are actually stuck. Not just because of what he'd gotten lodged in the machine. There's others that are actually lodged in the machine too. And they could have active lives, or they could be deceased souls that are still sort of stuck in between. That happens. He just shows me that there's a lot stuck in the machine, but he shows me people too. People who, like you and me. We're stuck in the machine as well. We're also pieces of bubblegum stuck in the machine. And the machine itself makes us go a bit insane, right? And so he's pretty animated communicator. Because he's saying it's like he's stuck in the machine. He is the ultimate messenger here, stuck in the machine. But there's also others stuck in the machine. And in some way, we're all stuck in the machine of the insurance companies. But he also is playing a role to help this become better. And he kind of puts his hands up like, this is a major focus for his soul. I know we're talking about health insurance. We're not talking about family, because that's also important too. But this is what the conversation, the focus is. He's not going to stay in this space. He needs to leave this space, because he wakes up, he sees this, he's like, wow, there's a lot stuck in the machine. This is a big job. There's a lot of work to do here. But he also feels like he wants to participate in helping, but it's pretty typical. If you just pass away and you've been lodged in this and now you're starting to breathe again, you need to go back to source, recollect yourself, and then come back and assess it from a higher vantage point. It's always wiser. Like, you don't want to die and stay close to this earth. You're going to not be of a clear mind, okay? You're not going to have access to your super smart soul. You're just going to be looking like over top the wall. Like, you're going to be able to look in and see a bunch of things happening, but you're still going to be kind of close to the planet and close to the human state. You need to leave, go back to source is literally, and then you just kind of rinse off is kind of what the thing is. Digest, reflect, meditate for a while, which could just be 1 second, but it could be like 300 years, doesn't matter. And then you can start to participate in what is your higher goal. So you can do whatever you want, and you are pretty much doing whatever you want, and you could be doing whatever you want in multiple versions of yourself. But I see that he's going to collect his versions and then go back to source for a time, which is really, really good. Then he can come back smarter, wiser, of a higher mind. It's better that way. I actually am really happy to see him go that fast. That's the best decision that any soul could ever make. So now he's gone. And now I'm standing here and I'm saying, oh boy, I'm looking at this. Everything's shrouded in darkness, so I don't know how to really see all the parts of the machine. And I can feel that there's living beings that are trapped in here, or even deceased beings that are trapped in here. It's all just like it's like too many pieces of gum in the machine. It was inevitably going to come to this. I need to go visit this Luigi guy, the murderer, because he's playing a role here too. And this, I don't choose to celebrate that, because on a human level, I just, like, there's a human way, but then there's a way of the spirit realm, and I'm not going to be an advocate for picking up a gun and shooting someone. I still need time to really philosophically reflect on all of this. I know what pushes someone, though, in the grander scheme of things, to feel like that's an ultimate solution. But in the spirit realm, everything has a destiny. Everything happens. It is called to happen, so to speak. So I'm bringing him and putting him in here. His place drives him mad. His idea is to break the machine. So his idea, he's like picking up a club and he's like trying to bash this machine to smithereens, but then there's nothing. And so I show him that as a path, and I let him bash the machine to smithereens. And it doesn't necessarily fix all the lodged pieces, like all the residue of souls that are lodged in this the health insurance machine, okay? And he's crying. And he screams, like, what is going to fix this? He feels like he could be a hero for the people. He wants to be a hero for the people. He doesn't care if he has to go to prison, as long as he knows he can be a hero for the people. So glad I'm doing this right now. You can't want anything when you make these decisions. So I'm taking away the energy of being a hero for the people, so that you just get to see clearly the decision and digest it through that. Otherwise, you're covering yourself in an idea of love. It's important that you're aware of that. It's like you have to be able to, coat yourself in love, but you have to coat yourself in other versions of viewpoint. So your soul can truly digest the bigger picture from the human standpoint. It's really, really powerful to do that. So now I'm actually asked to investigate the bashing down viewpoint of the machine, so there's nothing left. Really, it's not... All right, okay, this is what echoes back to me. And this is not my skill set, okay? Understanding the systems is not my skill set. I don't know how to really put all the pieces of this puzzle together. I can't comprehend it. I can comprehend the energy world. This is like a thing I can't comprehend. It's like asking someone who's great at math, terrible at, I don't know, writing or something, to master writing. I don't know. Like, it's just like great at long jump, terrible at cleaning house. Okay. We all have like skills that we're great at, skills we're not great at. I'm not great at understanding how these systems fit together. But it's not the insurance company that needs to be bashed to smithereens. It's something else actually that is a bigger problem. And that something else that is a bigger problem hides behind insurance companies, so it doesn't actually exist to our viewpoint. But it has to exist to our viewpoint first and foremost. Like, is it possible that the pharmaceutical companies need to come first and not the insurance companies? I don't really know how to understand this stuff, but I just keep seeing this weird commercial that I saw last night of this older woman, and she was so happy driving in a red Corvette, and everybody was waving in this cute little town. And take this medicine. There's another commercial of like this beautifully painted picture of happiness. As you're taking this medication, we'll give you this happiness. Take this medication, it'll give you this happiness. Take this medication, it'll give you this happiness. Take the medicine. But you also might get this side effect. And it's like, we don't deal with a pharmaceutical company. No, we deal with the insurance companies who deals with the pharmaceutical companies who probably deals with politics and all this other stuff. And so where do we need to be looking? And how do we really fix this problem? We the people, how do we fix this problem? I'm part of the people that can't understand how this whole thing works. So how do I fix the problem? So I'm starting to understand, why am I attracted to this event in modern day times? Yes, to help his soul, because that's what I do. To investigate, what does this have to do with 2025? It's all about change. We're looking at huge knots in the system that need to be unknotted in order to really give breathing room to the bigger picture, which isn't just America, so to speak, it's the world. So how do we actually help the world? And something of maybe a smaller part of the pickle, it'll say America's working on America's issues, is also going to work on issues of the world, because we're all connected. We're all part of the same knots. This is the whole world's knot, okay? CEO Spirit is coming back. And he gives me a big hug. And he shows me that the key to fixing everything is to shine the light in the darkest of places. And then he shows me that when you shine a light, you know, those dark places will continue to remain dark. So it's going to still be hard for you to really illuminate what is hidden in the dark, but you have to keep trying. That's what he says. You have to keep trying. He shows me, you ever meet someone who doesn't want to admit their darkest secrets? And you could shine the light in there all day long, and those dark secrets don't actually exist. He says, shine the light in those dark places, but then he winks at me and he says, like, you know what to do. And then he says, didn't you just shine a light into a dark place? Like, about himself, about the insurance companies, about Luigi, and now about what it means to be a hero. But it's not about one person, it's about everybody. We have to shine the light and keep shining the light. And then he reminds me, he's kind of speaking in riddles, but he's reminding me about, where does light come from? Comes from love. And so if you are shining the light on someone who does not have love on the inside of themselves, you will not be able to see them. Only when they start to glow will they be visible. That's important. That's an important riddle. Do you guys just understand what was just said there? All right. What are the dark... If you could imagine, there's human beings that do really dark stuff, like child trafficking. You try to shine the light on someone who's capable of dark stuff. They're dark on the inside. So if you are full of love and light, you are shining a light into their dark place. But how are we accomplishing it? Like, are we here to heal these wounds, or are we here to punish them? That's not the right words. It's like, how will we see them if they're in the shadow and we're in the light and they don't glow? How will we see them? And they don't want to glow. How will we see them? How do we get them to want to be seen? Do you want, so when it comes to kids, for instance, and you're threatening their well-being, like, oh, what did you do, right? You're not helping them to want to come out with what they did. You're threatening them to want to hide it on the inside so they don't get in trouble or something. It's more like, you know what, we need to actually start coming up with solutions so we can start pulling this darkness out of each other. We need to start pulling the darkness out so nobody's afraid of their own darkness. This is a riddle, okay? So I don't have the answer to the riddle. I can only talk about some of the perspectives that I'm being given by this resurrected CEO, okay? He's actually a really great guy. Energetically, what is his spirit like? He has a really good sense of humor. He's really grounded, perceptive. He does want to help. Like, he's part of the solution. Whether you see him that way or not, he actually came in to live this life so that he could be part of the solution, okay? And he's kind of saying that we're all part of the solution and we all play a role as part of the solution in different ways. And really to heal or to cure, the ultimate medicine, what actually cures humanity, because we're talking about pharmaceutical companies, we're talking about the CEO. So what cures humanity? Like, what is the ultimate cure to all of these knots? Like, we're really going to be getting our hands dirty here. But he's kind of saying it's not all that dirty. Especially when we start opening up from the heart. I'm going to ask him one more time if he could talk to me about shining a light in a dark place onto someone who remains dark. You will not be able to see them. Then how do you fix this? I mean, then it doesn't matter if I shine a light into dark places. Oh, because I heal things. Because that's what I was trying to say. Oh, I didn't finish that thought. People don't want to heal broken people. So broken people break things, okay? They'll want to break you. They want to break the world. They want to break everything around them and even say that they're put together and the rest of the world is messed up. But it was them that broke it all down anyway, but they'll never take credit for it because that something is broken inside themselves. So if we don't heal those broken people and we give those broken people power to break everything down, then we're going to live in a broken world where we had an opportunity to heal the broken person all along, but we didn't want to because they broke us down and we're holding a grudge now. Well, you're a jerk. I want nothing good to happen to you for all eternity. Karma. Karma's a bitch. You know, just like, that's why I'm healing the CEO. That's why I'm shining a light in dark places. That's why I'm trying to fix and be a part of the solution. 2025, change, fix it, be a part of the solution. Let's let go of revenge. Let's let go of hate. Let's let go of this stuff. Let's heal the brokenness. Just because it broke you, no, you let yourself be broken down. Now fix yourself, okay? I've been doing the work. I do the work every freaking day. You can do the work too. That's why I make these videos, to help you do the work, because it's hard. I like being helped too. And if I was stuck in some place in between earth and the spirit realm, I'd like someone to come and help me. And help me find my illumination, help me find my way back to source. I would like that. And so I'm just letting go of wanting to be critical and mean and say you don't deserve it. I don't want that. I don't want to live in that world. I don't feel like we need karma anymore. I am so done with this. Let's just heal it, move forward. Like, let's just heal and move forward, you know? So that is actually confirmation confirmation that, okay, I was like, what? Why am I going to do this 2025 message in 2024 with a CEO? And this is going to be really strange. And I don't know what I'm doing, but I know I need to do this. And it'll all make sense in the end. So now we know. I'm done. I'm done with this. I give the CEO a high five. I thank him for his life. I thank him for what he represents. I have to do one more thing. I have to, if I am going to play this role, then in the energy world, I'm going to give Luigi a hug. But I'm not doing this because he's a hero. I'm not doing this because of any reason other than he is a soul. I'm taking away the name, the identity, the role, and all that stuff, just the same way I did with the CEO, so I can see him in a neutral standpoint. Because he's playing a role too. And there's a lot of hurt inside this guy. And maybe that he's this broken person that needed to break things around him and to break down what was the evil that was breaking him down. And so there has to be a way for us to start animating ourselves a little bit differently here. And so I'm giving him a hug for being a part of this world with all of us and doing the best he knows how to do. Not because I'm congratulating him or praising him in any way. I'm just neutrally hugging him because he's a person too. He is a sister, brother, soul of all of us. He's part of all of our family. That is shining the light, right? Maybe this was his idea of shining the light. I've got a lot of work to do. Got a lot of work to do. Because I can do this. This is what I can do. This is what I can be good at. So that's our message. Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah. I'm shining the light. Let go of revenge. Let go of hate. Let go. And everything happens. It's all destined to happen. So if it does happen and it challenges our philosophies, it challenges us. Thou shalt not kill. Like it's good for our learning. It's good for us to learn about what love means. What is love? And it's good for us to explore what makes us our best self and adds light to the world to the best of our ability. I'm good at math. I'm going to work with math to make it a better world. Yeah, I'm good at the long jump. I'm going to work with that and make it a better world. I'm good at cleaning. I'm going to work with that to make it a better world. Like, what is your strong suit to make it a better world? Now you're the medicine. Now you're the pharmaceutical company, right? Because you have a really good talent there that makes it a better world. And talents like your vulnerabilities are also beautiful too. When you're not the victim and you're not screaming from a place of pain, like if you can just speak wholeheartedly, there's so much richness to it. I find it so enriching when people speak wholeheartedly about something they're really struggling with. I find it like the most beautiful sound a soul could make. But I can't hear the beautiful sound unless it's actually spoken from the heart, and we need to speak from the heart because that's the light too. Maybe that's like the protest is when we just speak from the heart as a collective group, but we have to learn how to speak from the heart. Don't speak from a place of anger or shouting or from your pain. You have to speak from a place of, this is how it hurt me. This is how it made me feel. This is why I feel this way. And now we can make it better. Now we can work on making it better. So I send love to you too. Send light. Anyway, done. All said and done. I'm done now. I'm just sending it out. Thank you for watching. If you're still watching this, thank you. If I can send light into your life in an individual session, you can book a session at my website, abbeynormalswisdomquest.com. Also on Patreon at patreon.com/abbeynormalswisdomquest. In January of 2025, I'm going to be doing a physical body healing kind of exploration. So there's going to be 7 live stream events. And there's going to be physical body healing, little mini readings, psychic development to teach you how to become an energy healer, to heal your own physical body in different ways you can accomplish that, and then also to challenge you to heal the physical body of another. So I do that in psychic development. So you should check it out. It's a lot of fun, and we get to hang out together in a live experience. So go to Patreon, patreon.com/Abbey Normal's Wisdom Quest. Book a session at abbeynormalswisdomquest.com. It's easy. Okay, Happy New Year, Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah, happiness to you, blessings. Okay, bye for now.